with edges placed in the appropriate places on the model in order to avoid any concave polygons and to delineate the areas around each cut. We're now ready to try another pass at the Boolean operation. Select the Walls Courtyard object, go to the Create panel, to Geometry Compound Objects, click Boolean, set the operand parameters to subtract, turn on Add Operands, and go around and click on each of those boxes in turn. And we'll see a lot fewer issues than we saw before because of the extra work that we put in order to build in all of those polygon edges. And once we've completed that, we can turn off Add Operands and orbit around. We'll still see some issues though. There's still some shading problems here and there if you look really closely, especially in this area here in my version of the model. Some of those polygons look like they're kind of black or shaded in some strange way. Well, that's just the polygon edge smoothing. We can easily correct that, either in Editable Poly or through a modifier called Smooth. Let's do it with a Smooth modifier first. We'll go over to the Modify panel. And just for illustration's sake, we can keep this as a Boolean object for now. And from the modifier list, choose the Smooth modifier. Scroll down. You're looking for Smooth. Not to be confused with Mesh Smooth. Mesh Smooth is for subdivision surfaces. Smooth is to harden or soften polygon edges. Add a Smooth modifier. And that's actually fixed the issue. All of the edges on this model are now hard. A few of them were being drawn as soft, and that's why we saw that shading artifact. And we can see this even more clearly if we turn off edged faces with F4 and disable the Smooth modifier. And when it's turned off, we see these strange shading artifacts. When Smooth is on, with no parameters set down here, then it's going to harden all of the edges on the model. And that is in fact what I want in this case. But if we had a curved object, then we would want the curved parts to be smoothed. And in that case, we would want to turn on Auto Smooth and give it some threshold. And if it's got a high threshold, then any polygons that meet at angles less than that threshold will be smoothed. We've got a 90-degree angle here between these two polygons. And when we increase that threshold above 90 degrees, then we get a smooth or softened edge there. Okay, I'll bring the threshold back down to the default of 30, and we can actually turn off Auto Smooth here. That's all we needed to do for this particular model. Just to illustrate a little bit more about smoothing, if I had a curved object, like if I go into my Create panel to Standard Primitives and make a teapot primitive just quickly, and then add a Smooth modifier to it, we can see how smoothing is going to operate on a curved object. Here it is with no parameters set, and we're getting hard edges everywhere. Turn on Auto Smooth, and now we've got soft edges in any area that polygons meet at less than 30 degrees. If they meet at greater than 30 degrees, we'll get a hard edge. And that's why up here at the top, we see some hard edges. The angle between this polygon and this polygon is greater than 30. And we can play with that threshold. If we bring it down to in the teens, then we'll see the more curved areas are going to have hard edges, and the more flat areas are going to have soft edges. And kind of paradoxically, that's almost the opposite of what you want in some cases. But in this case, what we got from the Smooth modifier is exactly what we wanted. It hardened all of the edges. Okay, I'll delete that teapot. That was just there for illustration purposes. That's how to use the Smooth modifier. In the following movie, we'll look at how to apply smoothing from within the Editable Poly tools.